Good morning, good morning. Hey, Chris. Ghostface. Miss Lorraine. Welcome, welcome. Julie, welcome. The Nerdy Loom Knitter, welcome, welcome. We're going to finish up this glove today. And I think next week we will work on the other glove that I wanted to do. A little late this morning because the husband called. He had to leave work for a doctor's appointment. Wanted to say hey for a minute. Yes, Chris. Question on the granny squares. Welcome, Shirley. Karen, and I saw blue lace something, but it went. Southern Wiener, how are you? So it doesn't look like there is a row. You mean when you finish it off at the end? You actually weave it through the legs of the other stitch to make it look like a stitch. I could work one up really quick while we wait for a few more people to come in. Let me grab just a little bit more yarn here. I didn't have my class yarn ready. Having a little bit of a morning here. All right. And plucking this from memory. So I'll make a quick square here, Chris. Oh, I hope that, I don't like when they filter the comments. I mean, you know, be nice, but I wonder if I could actually see. I think I can afterwards. I saw some filtered comments in my thing. Okay. I'll show you though real quick, because all I have to do is, I need the magic circle, not the slip knot. All right, there's our magic circle, and I'm going to work the clusters here and work a second row, and then we'll get started back again on the dragon scale gloves. I have to pull that pattern up again too. Struggling with today whether I should come on today or not. But I told you guys I would be here, so we'll work through the rest of this glove. I don't know if anybody finished up the 6 rows of the dragon scales, which is still the crocodile stitch, or the crocodile scales. You not call it a stitch. Square together, hook it to the start. Now I'm going to go one more round around here, Chris, because you're really not going to see it there, and I'll show you. It'll only take me a second to get back around here. You actually pull some of this out. It actually makes it look just like the rest of the standing stitches there on the top. That nice little V there along your edge. And I'll show you here. And I just recently discovered this too, and it's a really neat idea. If that's going to be on like your edge, if you're going to sew them together, I don't think you really have to do that. It's an extra step. And you know, when I make my granny squares, even the ending stitch, when you knot it off as normal, I always leave that string hanging, and when I sew them together, I work over it. And it's woven. I don't worry about it. But, so, you know, unless this is like the edge that you're going to have hanging and you want it to be nice and neat and you don't want to see any of that other rah-rah stuff that you would normally see. And I'll show you here because I'm up to the end. And what they tell you to do, I don't even think they have you do a slip stitch. You know what I mean? We'd have to do a slip stitch anyway. So we're going to come back in here and do our little, and at this point you're going to cut your string at a nice little length. Give yourself about 6 or 7 inches of string. And then you're going to pull this straight through. Okay? And I'm going to bring this up close so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to thread that onto a yarn needle. And then when we come up here and we look at this, you can see all these little V's that were created by the tops of our stitches. Okay? We're going to replicate this right here. Okay? Because we don't have that V stitch right here. So what we're going to do is we are going to come up over here and go under both legs of this stitch right here. Okay, and make sure that you don't go through that third loop back here. You want to catch just the tops. And I'll show you here in a second. You have just the tops and that third stitch is still underneath of there. Pull your yarn through there. Okay, and then you come here and you go back down into the middle of this stitch right here, down like this, and that creates your V. Now, as far as how you knot that off afterwards, I cannot remember, but that definitely needs to be knotted off. Maybe they knotted it off before they did the V over top. I can't rightly recall. I will research it up and I will do a video for you guys showing you how to do this. But this is basically what you do. And it just, you know, it fades in there because here's a V, here's a V, here's a V, all the way across. So that just gives you a nice flat finished edge. So that's all. Sure, not a problem. Hey babe girl. Good morning, Debbie. Hey Cairo, how you doing this morning? Oh, Chris, I'm here to help everybody. Yes, we are going to get started back on this dragon scale fingerless glove that we started on Tuesday. Move this out of the way here. I need to pull that pattern back up, and I bet you. Nope. I'm going to have to wait a minute for my computer to come up because I don't have the, unless I saved it on my drive and not on my computer. Let me check. Somehow I have a feeling that it's on my computer and not on my drive. Nope, it's on the computer. Well, I'm going to be testing out a theory. I'll talk while my computer's coming up. Here we go. Now I forgot what I was going to talk about because I got trying to remember this. Talking about that dragon scale pattern being on my drive. I don't know how when you get on the computer and you download a PDF, how to save it to your Google Drive. That way you can access it on many different devices. I have to figure that out. That's what I was getting at. Oh, the dragon scale gloves or the colorwork sweater. I don't think I talked about the colorwork sweater. Now I'm all froze up. All right, come on. Oh, this would take forever. We had the power go out last night because of a storm. I don't want that. I don't know why it won't let me close this one window out. No, the computer's going to be a pain. A pain, a pain, a pain. It's Friday. It doesn't want to be on anyway. Oh, I don't know. But anyway, everybody else. Yes, we were working on the dragon scale gloves. I do remember. Yeah. I know it's got to be in there somewhere. Okay, here we go. Things are starting to open up. All right, here we go. All kinds of windows are popping up now. I was trying to get to open up earlier. Here we go. I don't think I'm being held hostage anymore. I'm moving along. We're going to find those pattern. Here we go. But we were working, we've got 3 more repeats of these 2 rows to do. And then we'll go on to the next. Oops, here we go. So, all right, so now we are back on to trying to figure out which row we're on here now. I think it's 3. Yes. In that pattern. I did link it in my bio. So we are going to chain 3. And we're going to double crochet in that same stitch where we did the join and the chain. And then we are going to chain 1 and we're going to double crochet in the middle of the crocodile stitch. Right? Yes. We are going to double crochet in that space there in the middle of that first scale. And then we're going to chain 1 and then we're going to do what she calls the V stitch in this single crochet here in between, or the slip stitch, I'm sorry. So we're actually only going to be putting 2 double crochets in here. She doesn't chain between her V stitch. So we're going to put 1 double crochet, another double crochet in that same stitch. Then we're going to chain 1 and we're going to double crochet in the hole there in the middle of the scale. I'm going to chain 1 and do 2 double crochets again in this slip stitch here. And then a chain 1 and over here 2 in the middle of the scale again, another double crochet. We're setting up another foundation row for us to make another set of scales. We're going to repeat this 3 more times to give us a total of 6, got another one in here, 6 rows of scales. So we're putting 1 double crochet in the gap in the middle of the scale, chain 1, and then 2 double crochets in the slip stitch where you anchored the scale down from the last row. And just work that all the way around. To double check and make sure, because I was thinking about, you know, where is the thumb gusset in this, and in the picture it looks like that these go all the way down to the thumb and then the gusset portion is made after that. So we're almost back around here to our beginning. When we get back to the beginning, because that is our V-stitch right there, we're going to chain 1 and we are going to connect into the top of the chain 3 where we started our row. Hold of it. Okay, and you'll have the little areas where we're going to go back through and make the scales, and these scales will lay in the middle. And I think I might do a color change here and go back to the yellow. I think I'm going to do that. So I'm going to cut this off. So I want to have layers to my scales, a little bit, somewhat. And again, for those of you joining us, we're doing the dragon scale fingerless glove pattern that is in my bio. Now for this row, we're going to chain 3. Tighten both of those up. Hold them down. That's 1, 2, 3. And we are going to put 4 double crochets around the post of the chain 3 from the previous row, which is this one right here. Okay? The post of the chain 3, the one directly below it, I'm sorry, right here. Okay? Now to do that, double crochets in those. I'm going to bring this down here because we're going to work over that too. Double crochet. It's almost like doing a front post. It's exactly like doing a front post double crochet. Let me not confuse you. And you're going to put 4 of those around that post. Your chain 3 being your first one, counting towards the 5. Then you are going to chain 1. We're going to turn this back over and we're going to find that other chain 3 here, or the double crochet, the first double crochet, and we are going to do a front post double crochet around that one too, 5 of them. This one is a little tight to get into to start, but once you get to going with these, it really does, yeah, it's fun. And then we're going to slip stitch into this double crochet, which is the very next, the single double crochet all by itself. So slip stitch into the top of that one. And then we are going to we're going to continue on with these crocodile stitches. We are going to come right on over here with a double crochet. We're going to put 5 of them around this post. Just like a front post stitch. And I'm doing half doubles. And nobody's hollering to stop me. I couldn't hear you if you were. Heidi, we're working on the dragon scale fingerless gloves that I have linked in my bio. If you go back to my profile page right above my videos, the free pattern is linked there that we are working from. And we're going to chain 1. And we're almost going to, like you see, I turn my work over. Oops, what did I do? I did that around the wrong one. That's why it didn't look right. I did it around the double crochet we secured it to. Got to come over here to our next V. This downward V here, we are going to work around that post. Double crochet, so we're going to yarn over and we're going to get a hold of that post right there. I fold my work in half like this, so I'm working my 5 double crochets around that post. Oh, that was a half double. Come on, Mel. We'll get it. and a chain 1. My throat got scratchy. After you do your 5 double crochets, do a chain 1. Good morning, Smurf. Let me check while I'm taking a hydration break here, make sure I didn't miss anybody else's comments. Dina, thank you for the gift. And good morning. Olivia, thank you for the follow. I'm normally here every Tuesday morning at 8 teaching, but it ran over last Tuesday. We had a lot of fun, so we're finishing up today. Next week I'll do the knitted one. It'll probably be a whole knit class. But after you did your 5 double crochets and your chain 1, you basically almost kind of turn your work so that you expose the other V. And you're going to yarn over and get a hold of that other part of that V stitch. This is fun. Get it in there and then there we go. And I just kind of fold my work in half. That way I'm just working right into that space. It makes it a little easier to manage. And we're going to do 5 double crochets around that post. One more. And then the next double crochet, we're going to slip stitch into the top of that stitch right there. And we're going to repeat that all the way around. So right over to this one, get a hold of that post, 5 double crochets. Do a chain 1, basically pretty much turn it over. There's your other post. We are going to, my hands don't want to cooperate with me this morning. There we go. And then 5 double crochets around the post of this stitch. This would be cute done up like a little mermaid purse. Do it like a mermaid tail. Have it increase, down at the bottom. Create some type of little fins for it. It's a lovely little stitch. That's a slip stitch. Let's go ahead and slip stitch there. And then over here again for the 5 double crochets around the post. Chain 1, 5 more double crochets down the other side of that V. I think this would really look neat in like a metallic type yarn. I probably am going to make use some of that metallic embroidery floss. That would look really neat because it would have a shimmery look to it. To make sure that I was in the right spot. If there's anybody new here that needs to see a better demonstration of the stitches that I'm doing, please just say, can you show me again? An owl purse. I bet you that was absolutely adorable. I am getting ready to do some projects with owl stuff. There we go. Slip stitch. How's everybody doing today as we finish up this row? Hey, Hessa Life. Yarn over. Before we struggle to get it in there and then have to take it back out because we forgot to yarn over. Hashtag crafter's life, right guys? Sometimes we make it just so hard on ourselves. Chain one. Like yesterday. What happened yesterday? Yeah, I'm going to be designing some of those. Ange. Hey, Jess. Dragon scales. I bet you those were absolutely just, yeah, I like the dragon scales. I do. I'm going to use them in a couple of different projects, but yeah. I'm going to be, yeah, I've got a bunch of stuff that I had to get out of the way so that I could start some of the other things that I want to do, but that's just for fun conversation. We're in class right now. Sometimes, there we go. My fingers and my brain and yeah, things just don't want to cooperate with each other. Today, doing our slip stitch here to anchor down our scale. And we have one more scale. And then we'll get to do the foundation row again. Again, we've got 5 double crochets around the first leg of that V, chain 1, and 5 more double crochets around the second leg of that V from the previous row. And this would even be the right size for, you know, a dice bag. Because you could just keep doing this until, you know, you got the bag as big as you wanted to, or just short of, and do a little drawstring topper. And all you have to do is just seam the bottom shut. Or if you want a more rounded bag, you could crochet a round circle and then start however many you had to chain would be how many stitches you'd have to have for your circle edging when you make your circle bottom. You could just make a dragon scale bag just like that. No, this is sport weight, the mandala cakes from Lion Brand with the different colors in it. I'm using it from the outside and the inside, changing the colors up. But this darker color, I don't have any more of that in here. It's all gone. So, yeah, it's just going to be alternating these two colors now. But it'll be okay. But yeah, that's all. I'm just using both sides of the yarn off the same thing. So now we're going to do our foundation row again because we've slip stitched and anchored that down. We are going to chain 3 and we are going to do a double crochet in that same stitch. This is a repeat of the first row that we started. Now we're going to chain 1. Over here in the middle of our stitch, we are going to put a double crochet. Chain 1. Here we're going to do a V in this slip stitch where we anchored our scale down from the last row. So, and the V that she has in here does not have a chain between the 2 double crochets. So basically you're just putting 2 double crochets in that slip stitch from the previous row, chain 1, and then a double crochet in the middle of the scale from the last row, all the way around. I try to inspire as I teach and give ideas, because I get ideas as I work on things. And that's probably why I don't get stuff done, because I get massive ideas to try on new projects. And where's that darn it slip stitch? I'll get it in here. Maybe. There we go. But yeah, I get ideas and such ideas that I have to stop what I'm doing and go try it out. Let's see if this will work. And it's funny sometimes because I've got so many let's see if it works sitting around here. I had to stop, finish some things up. One thing I'm going to be checking out, I don't know if you guys have done the Tunisian crochet. Okay. Yeah. I do an I-cord. Yeah, it's Lion Brand. No, it wasn't the Caron Big Cakes, but it's the mandala, the Lion Brand mandala cakes. And they've got loads and loads and loads of colors. And this is a sport weight yarn, so it's a little lighter than worsted. And that slip stitch sometimes is fun, especially twice. There we go. That wasn't even in the right spot. Nope, nope, nope. It's over on the other scale. No wonder it didn't want to go through. There we go. And here we are back at the beginning, and again we slip stitch into the top of the chain 3. And we are going to start another row of scales. I'm going to go ahead and change the color up again. I'll be using that other light blue color over here. For the Tunisian crochet, yes, you do need that. There's a pattern that I purchased called the Elf Coat, and I want to see if I can do it knitted. So I got the Tunisian crochet hooks. I purchased a whole set. It goes from like a 2 through 15, and maybe a 2 through 8. I don't know. It's like 11 different sizes. And I want to make sure I have the right size that it's calling for. I want to do one of the panels in the Tunisian crochet, and then I want to do a panel in knit to see if they come out the same. If so, I will probably knit the whole pattern. So I like to challenge myself like that. Get these here under control. Do our chain 3. And then like I did the last time, I'm going to drag these right up through here. And we're going to do 4 double crochets around the first leg of that V that is immediately above your chain 3. 4 double crochets. Don't let go of that because I caught my weave-in ends there. I don't want to pull those through with my stitches. Okay, there's our 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that? Yeah. Chain 1. We're going to turn this over. What I'm going to do so that I get these out of my way, I'm going to put my crochet hook down underneath of here where I'm at, and I'm going to pull these down through just to get them out of my way. Those will be where they get woven. This color change here. Pop those right through to the back side. Now they're out of my way. Here we go. We did our chain 1. We're going to yarn over to start our next double crochet over this here. There we go. Yeah, I had to point that finger way out there to get that to go. And we're going to do 5 double crochets around this post here. Last one. And then slip stitch in the top of your double crochet here. And then on to the next little V here for another scale. And I think once I get this row done, I'm going to try this on my hand because I might minimize this down a little bit, and we're going to do the 5 double crochets, chain 1 and 5 more. Yarn over. There we go. I'm going to take a look at these pictures again really quickly. Come on. Do this last stitch and slip stitch it down. I might not want to have, oops, just slip stitch. all of those rows because we're working on 4 now. We're going to have to add 2 more. And let me see here. Ooh, I must have hit some buttons. Here, look at this picture that they have here. Yeah, they have it going from like this knuckle all the way down to here, because right at the thumb is where they're going to start the separate stitching. They do have 6 scales on there, so let me see where this falls. This is where you can make adjustments for smaller hands. If you like it all the way out here, we can keep going. But I think after I get this row, I think that's where I like my fingerless gloves to sit, just over the, first set of knuckles off your hand here, like that. So once we get this row done, we're going to start working on this, or maybe not. Where they have that? Yeah, we're going to start working on the glove part. So on mine, I'm actually going to skip 2 rows. It actually says that you should do 6 repeats of these, so you actually have 6 rows of scales. I think 5 rows will be enough. And then we'll start at row 13 and start working on that glove part. So work the rest of the way around here. And I think YouTube is asking me if I'm still listening, which yes, I am. I don't know if I had a long stream of silence in that video or what. It wasn't playing. There's 4 and 5. Chain 1. Get around that post. And 5 more double crochets around the second post. Whoever came up with this is very, very creative, because I would have never thought to do all kinds of stuff like this. And this just opens up a whole new array of things that I can do with this. I'm going to call it architecture, because you're working up and down other rows and things like that. Really, really neat concept. And I hope I yarned over. Yep, I did. Good. 5 double crochets, and I think I went through the stitch on that one. I went through the stitch on the first one too. Don't want to do that. I want to go around the post. There we go. All right, Candace. Checking through my comments. Thank you for the follow. Alright, now we're doing our slip stitch here in the top of this double crochet. And off to the next little scale over here. There we go. It's getting easier now that we're coming up to the end. I probably shouldn't have said that, probably just jinxed myself. Going to town on that colorwork sweater this morning. I might come back on it today after class and after I grab some breakfast and work on that colorwork live here, chatter. Might be able to do it, we'll see. And the last one, slip stitch into the top of that double crochet, slip stitch, and we got a few more. My yarn's fighting against me because I'm working from the outside of the skein. One more. And pull some of this out. All right. Get back in here. And what I might end up doing, because the crochet that I've been doing has taken up a lot of time, and I want to for you guys to be able to have something to walk away from with class if you followed along. So I might end up breaking this up into 2 days. 1 day for crochet, 1 day for knit. I don't know. I'll put some feelers out and see how it goes. More. And then slip stitch into here. And we are going to start on row 13 now. Anyone who's following along. We are going to chain 3 and put 2 double crochets in the same stitch. Okay, let's do that first, and then I'll read the next bit of directions off. Oops. Got some fuzzy wuzzies in there and it doesn't want to come through. And there's 3 double crochets. And then we are going to do 3 double crochets in the middle of the scale. 1, 2, and 3. And then we are going to do 3 double crochets in the slip stitch. And we're going to repeat that around from the center of the scale and the slip stitch. 3 double crochets in each one all the way around. Okay. All right. Fighting with these strings. That slip stitch made it too tight. Okay. Computer screen just went dark on me. I need to know what we need to do next. Wait till I get finished this row and then I'll look and see what we do next. Hopefully it's just some repetitive rows of stitching because it looked like it was in the picture, which should be easy to finish up. And then I can go get some breakfast and then come back just for fun and we can chitter chatter. And I saw something new and I'm going to give it a try. It's this guy, he does a no float on his knitting, which actually it still floats. He just catches his floats every other stitch. So I want to give that a try. Okay, there's the last 3 in the scale. Okay, we have to back up here. We're going to stop at the last slip stitch, which should be sitting in between 2 scales, and that went one too far over. Let me fix that. Put that in that slip stitch. There we go. All right. It says, and skip the final crocodile stitch, which is this one right here. This is where it creates the thumb hole. So we're going to chain 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we are going to slip stitch to the first double crochet, not the starting chain, the first double crochet, which is right here, should be the second in your cluster. There's the starting chain, there's the second one right there, which is actually the first double crochet of your last row. And you now have your thumb gusset. What I would do, pull a little bit of this so I can get this needle out of here. I would check and make sure that that's going to be enough. It should very well be, because that's what's going to come down around here. And as you well know, it does stretch a little bit after you've worn it a bit. Okay, and now we're going to work around here to make the arm piece. Okay, so here we've slip stitched to join. Now for the next directions here, it says to slip stitch in the next space, which is this space right here created in between your chain threes. So we're going to slip stitch around that space, and then we are going to chain 3, double crochet in this same space. Okay, we're going to go over here to the next space, and we're going to put 3 double crochets in there, and we're going to repeat the 3 double crochets all the way around. So 3 double crochets in each space. In each space around until we come back to the chains for the thumb gusset. Am I chaining in between? No, we're not chaining in between. Just 3 double crochets and on to the next space. You're double crocheting right in that space. Okay, now I'm getting tangled up again. Get some of this undone here. It's not pulling out very well. I need one of those things you could set it on and it rolls around. Alright. So continuing on, 3 double crochets in each space, all the way around, back to your chain. And then we're going to do some stitches across that chain. Okay, one more time. And to me that seems like a lot more than 8 times. 2, 3. Yeah, that's a lot more than 8 times, but she says 8 times. 3 double crochets in the next space and repeat 8 times. But it's more than 8. Repeat, and in the chain 8 space, we are going to do 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets. So right around the chain, 3 double crochets, do a chain 1, 3 more double crochets, and then we are going to double crochet in the first space because we slip stitched one over in the beginning. So the first space here, we are going to double crochet right into that first space, which is actually going to give us 3 double crochets together. No. Yes, double crochet in the first space. I'm sorry, right around here. And then join to the top of the beginning chain 3. That's supposed to give you your 3 double crochets together. There. And it will pull those 3 together there. Now, it says you should have 12 double crochet clusters all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Nope, got a lot more than 12. 13, 14, 15, and 16. But that's okay. We're going to keep going. I don't know how in the world, unless I added extra stitches. That's why. I added extra stitches in the beginning. So if you have more than what she said, because we started out with 36 stitches, we should have only had 6 scales, but I think I have 7 scales. So yeah, I'm going to have more stitches and you might have too. I just recalled that. Hey Lordy, how are you? Yes, I love to crochet too. I think that's Tiny Yarn Crafts. Welcome. Rose, thank you for the follow. Okay. Naughty Selena, you're working on yours too. All right, keeping up with everybody. Thank you for the follows. Now, for row 15, we are going to slip stitch into the next space. So this space right here, we're going to come in here and do a slip stitch. Then we are going to chain 3 and do a double crochet in the same space right here. And we're going to do 2 double crochets in the next space. So this next space here is only going to get 2. And then the next space after that, we are going to do 3 double crochets. And we're coming up on our repeat here. We are going to do 2 double crochets in the next 2 spaces. And then 3 double crochets in the space after that. And we'll repeat that around. So we are going to do 2 double crochets in the next 2 spaces. 2 in this one, 2 in this one, and then 3 in the one after that. And we're going to repeat that all the way back around. So you're going to do 2 in the next space. Here's our 2. We're going to do 2 in the next space. And then we're going to do 3. We're back to the start of our repeat with 2 double crochets in this space, 2 in the next one, and 3 in the one that follows. Let's see what it tells us to do here now. Okay, we've got a little bit more to do. Do another 2 in this space. If you still have more spaces to go, keep doing that repeat until you come back to your beginning. And then 3 in this one. And then we come back here. I'll go ahead and I'm going to put 2 in here, which we should end with 2, because here's 2, 2, and then our 3. We got more than 2, 2. Well, we'll figure it out as we go around. And then it says to join with a slip stitch in the top of your chain 3, which was right here. Join right there. Okay, and we're going to be decreasing some stitches here by not having as many in the spaces. We are going to slip stitch over here into this next space, and we are going to chain 3, and we are going to double crochet in that same space. Then we are going to put 2 double crochets in the next space, and every space back to the beginning. So 2 double crochets in each space all the way around. Because we are not doing 3, we are decreasing in our stitch count, and this should start the fitting of your glove. So after this round, I'm going to try my glove on and see how it's fitting. So we're working 2 double crochets in each space around. Now mind you, knowing your stitch count, if you don't like this mesh glove, you can put a different pattern in here as long as you can get the stitch count to match up. Pull some more of this out before it starts tangling up. I might go down a little bit and change back, but I think I'll stay on this color. Yeah, the mandala, the Lion Brand mandala, they have lots of colors, lots of colors. So we're doing 2 double crochets in each stitch around. Still have all my color change yarn staring me in the face right there. Okay, we are almost back to the beginning here. Do 2 here. And it says oh, looks like we might be doing some spirals because it doesn't say to join after this part. Are we going to start working spirals now? 16, oh, 17's got to join, 18's got to join. Must have just been a typo. So we are going to slip stitch into the top of the chain 3, just like we have been doing on all the other rows, because all the other rows after have a join, so we're going to keep joining. It was just a missed spot there. Now again, trying on this glove. Get my fingers to work here. They don't want to grab a hold of anything today. And you can see this is starting to come in this way. I could see it from the beginning because it's starting to round off here on this side. And Row 17. We're going to be skipping spaces around, so that's going to bring it in even more. So let's go ahead and start with row 17. We are going to slip stitch into the next space. We are going to chain 3, double crochet in the same space, and then we are going to skip the next space and go to the one after that, and we are going to put 3 double crochets in there. Okay, 3 double crochets in the next 3 spaces. So this one, the next one we're going to put 3 double crochets. The one after that we're going to put 3 double crochets. And I think we're skipping the next space. Yep, and then 3 in the next space. Skip the next space, I'm sorry. Do 3 in this space, and then the next 2 after it. So there's 1 space with 3, 2 spaces with 3, and the 3rd space with 3. Okay, we're going to skip this next space, and we're going to put 3 double crochets in the next 2 spaces. I'm probably going to have to do some extra spaces because again I started with extra stitches. I want to see where we're at here. Yeah, we have a couple more spaces to do, so I'm going to go ahead and do that 3 again. And then do the skip, and then do the 3 in the next 2 spaces, and I should be back to the start. If not, we'll do one more because we did add extra stitches. Here's my start, so nope, we don't have to do another one. There's our last 2. And then we are going to double crochet in this starting space right here and join to the top of the chain 3. And that's supposed to be your 3 stitches there. Okay. Just wondering how small this is getting. I do this all the time. I try it on. Okay. Now 18 through 25, we are going to be doing 3 double crochets in each space around, 1 in the starting space as we did, and starting the same way that we did. So we are going to, I'm going to grab a hold of this counter right here. Okay. Now we are going to slip stitch into the space, chain 3, 1 double crochet in the same space, and then we are going to put 3 double crochets in each space around. If you have tried the glove on it at that point, on the next round we'll take a look and make sure that the glove fits your wrist the way you like. If it is too big, we can do another increase or decrease, skipping one of the spaces I tend to do that on the underside, on this part of the glove here, so it hides it a little bit better. If you need to do that, I will show you once we get finished this row how and where to decrease it by another 3 stitches. That one got a little wonky, didn't it? My tension go a little bit there. And that crochet stitch between the 2 clusters got a little stretched. But luckily we're working in the spaces, so I covered it right up. Okay, now we're back to our beginning. We are going to do 1 double crochet in the starting space, and we are going to slip stitch into the top of the chain 3. Okay, I'm going to try this on again, and I'm going to show you while I have it on where to do your decreases. If this is still too big for your liking, which for me it is, you can see here it's a little too big, so I'm going to do another decrease. I'm going to either do it back over here, okay, back over in this area. Now mind you, we're getting ready to work that way now. I will skip a space over here and probably a space over here on this edge when I come back around, so it'll pull it again, because this is still, you know, a little big. I need 2 more spaces gone. So I'm going to do that on this round. If you need to do yours, then follow along, and your decreases will be in the same spot that mine are. And keep an eye on that. So again, we're going to slip stitch over to the space, chain 3, do a double crochet in that same space, and then again over to the next space, 3 double crochets in this space. Now I'm going to skip the next space here and come around to here. Now when I do this, I want to make sure to keep my tension really good, because I don't want this hole to be really super big. Hopefully it will not show up too much. I'll check it out when I get this row done. And I think before I do that other decrease, I'm going to try this back on, because that was a good bit of a decrease there. And I'm going to stop right here at this point, because if I need to do any more decreases, I want to do it before I get over here to the, or back over here on this side again underneath, because normally everybody sees this side. Now I still do kind of need another decrease. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that here, and I might come down a little bit further before I do another one, because we had one on the last, you know, every other row here. So I'm going to do another row and then see. If not, I might do a little something different. Might have had to decrease back down those extra stitches before we started all of this that I put on there. And I don't want it to pucker out too much here on the corner here with the decreases, so I'm not going to decrease it here. I'm going to come over a little bit further on the, you know, this part of the wrist side and do another decrease. I love this. I would have picked up those stitches with and knitted a rib or something on here to make it more stretchy than this mesh. here, but that's the way the designer designed these. So I'll look and see how many more spaces I have before I'm back to start, which shouldn't be too many. Yeah, I actually need to skip this next one and come over here. And again, this is just for time, so that you guys know. And again, we're back to our starting space, so 1 double crochet in the starting space and slip stitch into the top of our chain 3 here. There we go. I'm going to try this on yet again, because that might have been, that's pretty much just what I need. The rest of it, we'll go ahead and finish up these rows. I think that was 2 rows we had done now, 18 and 19. And then we're just going to continue on doing 3 double crochets, slip stitch over to your space, chain 3, put 1 double crochet in here, and go to the next and 3 double crochets in each space after that, working back to your start. Do that for rows 18 through 25. And we have about a half hour left of class. Actually, this was just make up from not being able to finish this in class on Tuesday. Working back around to our start. Got a couple more spaces back to our start. Last space with 3 double crochets, and then 1 double crochet in the starting space, and again connect to the top of the chain 3 with a slip stitch. That really doesn't, yeah. But you do that all the way up to round 25. And then you're going to double crochet in each stitch around for row 26, joining with a chain in the top of, or a slip stitch in the top of chain 3. And then the last row, they have you chaining 3 and front post double crocheting and a back post double crochet to give a little rib to the edge, the last edge, and that's the finish. So, yeah, I'm going to change this up a little bit because I don't like the fit of this myself. I'm going to pull this all the way back to these stitches, these crocodile stitches here. And I'll probably do a live showing you how I'm going to pick those up. Evenly pick up stitches all the way around with this same yarn and do a ribbing that will make it more stretchy in this area. And what I will do, instead of, because we have the chain to create our gap, I will work back and forth until I have the thumb gusset, or I don't have enough to be able to work a thumb gusset in there. You work that from the bottom. But yeah, I'll work back and forth until I have that gap for my thumb. And I definitely will show you guys how I do that right here on live. But I'm definitely going to have to do a different cake up on this so I don't have to keep playing with that yarn to get it finished. But that's the crocodile stitch. It's very easy to do. And I'm definitely will incorporate this into a bag. Show you how to do a bag. Good morning, Arlene. How are you? Came on to finish up Tuesday's class. Don't really like this part of the glove, so everybody's got the stitches on here. The pattern is on it is linked in my bio, so if you want to check this pattern out. But I will be utilizing the scale portion, and I will show you guys how to make little dragon scale bags. They could be mermaid bags. Could be anything bags with scales. I'll come on and do that this weekend. But does anybody have any questions? I want to scroll back over my comments. I haven't been paying too much attention. CM Wool, I'm sorry. This was a continuation of Tuesday's class. This is the dragon scale fingerless glove pattern that I have linked in my bio. All of my little weavy ends are still in the middle. But it's a crochet dragon scale glove. I don't care for this pattern here. So I'm going to do something a little different from the scales down. And I will do that with you guys here while you all are watching. But not right now. I'll do that this weekend. And it'll be a just for fun, yeah. So I started putting the little stickers up to tell everybody what was what. Good morning, Cindy. Sorry I missed you coming in. Breck, I'm sorry I missed you. We're making the fingerless dragon scale gloves. You're enjoying making that beginner sweater. Is that this one? The one that I'm currently working on. Is that this one right here? This is a lot of fun. I'm working this whole thing in the round instead of in pieces. And as I go, I'll show you how I'm doing it. I'm doing the color work on it now, but after class ends at 10 o'clock, I'm going to take a break and I will be back around 11:30. So that way I can take care of my puppies, grab something to eat. The husband calls around 10:30. And since this is a continuation from Tuesday, the knit portion we'll do first thing Tuesday morning. I want to show you how to make fingerless gloves that you can put over splints. If you have corrective braces or whatever that you wear on your hands, there's cute little splints that you can put over any size brace, any size arm. It doesn't matter. I'm going to show you how to make those, how to measure for those, how to go from whatever yarn you want to use, whatever yarn label, and figure out how to make this. There's going to be a lot that I show you that way in class. I'm getting around to showing you all of that so that you don't need a pattern to make what you want to make. All you need is measurements. I don't know what else that I might be able to go over before we end today. Anybody have any questions? Any questions? Anything you want to see? I don't know if Chris is still here, but I will do. I am going to start on some tutorials this weekend and into next week. Doing some videos showing you how to do certain things. I always try to stay showing you how to do what's on trend. So that way, even if you're a beginner, you know how to do. I mean, this stuff is pretty, I would consider this intermediate to advanced here, myself, my opinion. And it's not that hard to do. Thank you for the follow, Bad Wolf. Diane, thank you for the follow. Yes, it is very pretty, Karen, very pretty. So, and I like the way that I got the colors to change. Every row is a different color, even though the colors repeat. But yeah, it just adds a little bit more to it. You can actually, if you wanted to get a little more into it, when you do your slip stitch to secure your scale down, you can change color, and every scale could be a different color if you wanted to go to that, you know. I'm going to get some embroidery floss, some of the metallic looking embroidery floss, and I'm going to make some of these in that, see what I need to do to get the circumference that I need with the embroidery floss. I'll have to do a gauge swatch for sure, and make it up with embroidery floss so it's shiny. It'll be more silkier looking, less fuzzy. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll have to post this because this is part of class. Now, mind you, Tuesday's class got cut off because I forgot to plug in my recording device. So it might be in a couple of different sections unless I can figure a way to edit and mash everything together. Yes, this can be done to do a mermaid tail blanket. We have time here and I can show you exactly how to do that. And if you are making it for a specific person, measurements are always good. Okay. If you're thinking about a mermaid tail, and hopefully you can see this, I don't have Sharpies up here that I can write with, so I just kind of have to, and my clipboard has ran away somewhere. But you're thinking about a mermaid tail, so you're going to have a tail, and you can design that tail and crochet any way you want. This can be done in tubes to where you start out with a magic circle here and a magic circle over here, and you do your 6 stitches and your increases, and you make it big enough, almost like you're starting a sock. Okay, if you've done crocheted socks, this down here would be almost like crocheting socks. And at this point, this would be where the heels would sit and the feet, please don't laugh at my feet. Okay, this is what you're seeing inside the feet. So if you measure, you know how long this has to be because it should be as long as the foot with a little extra space. Again, measuring around the foot, you know how many inches around you have to go, and using the yarn label, you know how many stitches that you have to do. Then you're just going to take the foundation row from this dragon scale pattern, which was the 1 double crochet and the V double crochet, and you're going to do that. You can start down here if you wanted to have scales down here, but wherever you want your scales to start, that's where you're going to start doing those stitches for your scales. Now, the increase for your scales it's multiples of 6 stitches. So every time you increase, it has to be a 6-stitch increase or you're going to throw your scales off. So you have to add in another scale every time you increase. So your increases are going to go as the legs and the body of your mermaid blanket grow. And you're just going to do that foundation row and work your scales over those V's that you have and secure them down to the double crochets that are in between. And then all of this is just increases. I would say I would increase the scales on the sides, and because it does increase pretty much, when you come to this side portion here, I would increase 6 stitches. And then over here, increase 6 stitches, because that's giving you almost an inch every time you do an increase. And you would only do that every so many rows. And that's how you would change this over for that, yes. So if you haven't crocheted socks, you could always pull up a simple crocheted sock pattern. We did do crocheted socks here that started out with the magic circle down here and work the sock part up. The stitch count that you have in here, you can work any stitch pattern you want that's going to make it look like fins or a fan, because that is the fin portion of the tail. And then, just like I said, whenever you want your scales to start, that's where you'll start that foundation row from this pattern that's linked in my bio. You have to match your stitch counts up. So once you come off of these socks, if you have to add extra stitches to get your stitch count to match up with multiples of 6 for your dragon scales, they are multiples of 6. So each scale needs 6 stitches. And yeah, it's pretty easy. I've gotten into altering patterns a lot. I've done it for many, many years. And not so much altering the patterns, but combining patterns together. This is nothing but a sock pattern and a dragon scale pattern put together. That's all it is. Crocheted socks and dragon scales. And your increases. That's all. But yeah, work 2 socks up to the heel portion here. And then you would pick all of those stitches up around that to start working your blanket. And if you don't want your blanket to be in the round all the way up, okay, once you get to a certain height and you don't want that blanket to be a great big, sleeping bag tube that you can only get in and out of if you enter from the top, at the point where you don't want it to be, closed in, you would just break off. Instead of joining with the slip stitch, you would turn your work and work back and forth with those 6 stitches for your multiples of 6 for your scales. And this would be the back. So you could tuck it underneath of you, but if you needed to get out of it, you didn't have to try to, squiggle out of this whole long bag that's however long you've made it. So, any other questions? I've got a question on stitch fiddle. I don't know if anybody else uses stitch fiddle. I need to figure out how to fill multiple squares with the same thing in a click. I already have stuff plotted on there that I don't want covered up, and I'm afraid if I go swiping through, if anybody else uses stitch fiddle, then I'm going to end up knocking one of those out. Anybody else use stitch fiddle? No? I'll have to figure it out. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and end for today, even though today wasn't a scheduled class. It's normally Tuesdays, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, hour of knit and an hour of crochet. Anybody who's new, if you follow me, make sure to click on the little bell that is on my profile page and select all notifications. It will let you know every time I post a video, every time I post a tutorial, every time I post or go live, so that you can reach me. How to get on to what, Debbie? Oh, you're talking about stitch fiddle. I'm not sure if you're talking about stitch fiddle or not. Yeah. Stitchfiddle.com. You do have to create a little account with a username and a password. It's free to go on there and graph things out. It will print the pages out for you with the graph. It's good for color work, graphing out. I'm graphing out a bubble blanket right now. If you use the crocheted portion down at the bottom where it says other crochet, it gives you the crochet stitches, the little I call them hieroglyphics, the little symbols. That's what it is, symbols. I couldn't think of the words. And you plot those symbols in a graph, and you can plot out, pretty much anything. You can it also has color work in there for like crochet graph GANs. and you can go in there and plot out a whole blanket. And if you pay for the premium, which is $30 for the whole year, it gives you it at half price because it's $5 a month. It gives you $250 a month for if you pay for the whole year at once, which is $30. And it will write the directions out for you. It'll tell you so many single crochets and then a bubble and so many single crochets and a bubble. And each row, it'll tell you exactly what to do. I'm getting ready to use the heck out of that here soon because I'm plotting patterns and all kinds of things. And I'm going to have all kinds of new things coming out here relatively soon. So stay tuned. But yes, I'm probably going to have to do a little tutorial showing you how I do plot things on Stitch Fiddle, the things that I do know about Stitch Fiddle. I can do that on a live. So, yeah, you can do that with Stitch Fiddle. You can import pictures to Stitch Fiddle. The fun thing about Stitch Fiddle is when you import pictures, you have to make sure they're a certain size. If you shrink the picture down too much, it distorts the picture. So I'm still trying to learn how to do that. If you are doing gauges, it will calculate how big your pattern is going to be based off your gauge swatch and your measurements. It's got all of that pre-programmed in there, so all you do is put in your measurements off your gauge and then bam. So yeah, there is a lot that you can do with Stitch Fiddle. Before you purchase the premium, go on to the free portion, which you can go in and import pictures on the free portion. You can go in and plot your own graphs on the free portion. You just can't print out written directions. It'll print out the chart for you, and then you have to follow it off the chart if you can do it that way. But I got the premium because I'm a little lazy. So yes, and if you have seen the Philadelphia Eagles skull blanket that I did have pinned for a while, but I unpinned it in my TikTok. I use Stitch Fiddle to do that. And I actually printed out all the pages and had to tape them together, this page to this page and this page, had to tape them all together. And then I actually, because I didn't pay for the written part, I really didn't know it had a written part, I had to go through and I wrote out line by line by line, so many of this color, so many of this color, so many of this color for, corner to corner. And I did it in corner to corner. Each pixel on that graph is one color. So you can use the graph for crochet. You can use it for knit. You can use it for all different styles of crochet and knit, which is what I love. So it's got a lot of uses, Stitch Fiddle. A lot of uses. And if you're into writing patterns, it will help you write patterns. Now, as far as sweater patterns and things like that, I do not know. I haven't tried or even looked at it, but for like blanket patterns, a cow pocketbook. If you made a flat panel, folded it over the length that you wanted it, sewed the two sides up, you have a tote bag or a messenger bag. If you want to have a flat bottom to it, you can still do the same panel, just make it long enough to have the bottom and the sides that you want, like this. Then you make, the sides to sew in and do your straps, however you want to do your straps. Stitch Fiddle can help you plot whatever you want on there. I've actually taken Stitch Fiddle and imported pictures that kids have hand-drawn onto a specific size graph to make a specific size project, and you can make placemats, crochet GraphGAN placemats for the kids of pictures that they've drawn. I've done that on the side of a messenger bag with a little closure flap with a button on it and had, what the kid drew on that bag. So yeah, I love it. I love stitch fiddle. Love it, love it, love it. I think every crafter should have stitch fiddle. It ups the game big time without a whole lot of stress. It does. Yeah, I have taken stitch fiddle. You have a tablecloth your grandma made. Is that grandma, G&A? Yeah. But yeah, I plotted out, I pulled a leopard print off of Pinterest and I imported it to Stitch Fiddle. I made some changes because once you get it on the graph, you can make changes, to make it look the way you want. You have to change the colors on the graph. And it's in that video where I have the hat and scarf connected. It starts out with a maroon hat and scarf that's cabled. And then it shows you in the next picture the leopard print that I did on my kids call them sneeds. They're a hat and scarf together. So yeah. Well, I understood it. I just wanted to clarify. Got to give credit where credit's due, right? For sure. But yeah, these are some of the things that I'm working on. I have a lot of stuff that I want to do. I don't know why my brain over the last, I would say 6 to 8 months has just gotten so creative, so more creative than I have been my whole entire life. And it's kind of scary because, I've watched the movie Phenomenon. But I don't think that's the reason. But yeah, very, very creative, very craft-oriented, very, create new things. I've been working off of other people's patterns for so long that I want to make my own now. I want to make my own. And I've got some big ideas coming, and I hope that they really take off. I hope they do. So I'm going to go ahead and end for today. We do only have 3 minutes. I will be back around 11:30. I am going to come back and I'm going to give you, this one here is what I'm going to be working on when I come back. Oh, we'll cover that up. I lost something here in this craft room the other day, and just out of sheer dumb luck, I found it. And it's important. It's important. I'll bring this back up here gently because I've got this yarn pulled out. But this is the sweater that I'm working on. Set this stuff over here. Gently, gently, gently. Don't want to knot it up. But I've got another 12 inches of this color work. And I'm going to be working on that when I come back at 11:30. This whole area from the rib up to where these garter stripes start is going to be all color work. And then when I come up here to the top, it's just going to go back to this fairy tale color. It's called fairy tale. And I'm trying to get this finished for my sister before the end of October. Cross my fingers. I ordered some more yarn. I had to take out the lapels on my husband's vintage smoker's jacket because I did not put enough. I drew it up. So I had to unstitch it and add more to it. And then I will redo the collar band. But I had to order some more yarn. So I did that. But this pattern calls for it to be worked in flat pieces. I don't think it shows you on this page. But there's 2 flat pieces, the front and the back. Well, little rebel me. Here's the front and here's the back. We're doing it in the round. until we get up to here. And again, I'll be online to show you. Oh yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can do it. But I can do it too. But right here you can see in the pattern here, you can see the seam that runs right up the side there. There's not going to be any seams in this one except for underneath the arms and on top. Because once I get this colorwork section done, I will increase stitches on this side for this sleeve and increase stitches on this side for this sleeve, and I'll work across the whole sleeve and front all at one time. And I'll have the back going at the same time. I have a huge 60-inch circular, and I'll put it back on that, and I'll work the front, drop that yarn, grab the yarn from the other skein to work the back, and then it'll all be done. The pattern maker app that I spoke about is called Stitch Fiddle. Let me, I'll type it in here for you. And when you go to the .com, there's no spaces. It's called stitchfiddle.com. It's free. Portions of it are free. Other portions of it are in the premium. And again, $2.50 a month if you pay for the full year, which is $30. And you can do knitting, crochet, needlepoint, quilting, all kinds of different crafts from this one app. Or one website, I mean. It's not an app, it's a website. I was crocheting today, but when I come back, I'm getting ready to leave right now. Or end the live this morning. I'll be back at 11:30, and I'm going to be working on this. I'm going to go get something to eat, and my husband calls at 10:30. I got to take care of the puppies. But yeah, I'll be back at 11:30, and I will be knitting on this today. Yep. So Easily Art Studio, if you'd like to come back, or did you have any questions about anything before I go? I do still have about 20 minutes. And then Tuesday we'll be back for regular crochet and knit class, and because we missed the knit class this week, we will start off with knit next Tuesday. And depending on how you guys feel, I might do one every other week. That way we got a full 2 hours to devote to one, or do it twice a week, one day and one another. Well, I don't know if Easily Art Studio is still in or not. Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and go for today. Easily Art Studio, if you had any questions, just hit me up with a message, and I will be back at 11:30. If you all are still around at 11:30, come join me. Going to be working on this bad boy. Got another 12 inches to go before I can start zooming through. All right, Arlene. I'll catch y'all later. May all your stitch counts match, and happy crafting.